All right, welcome. Another edition of It's Still Real to Me. Of course, everything Zaslow Show 2.0 brought to us by our title sponsor, Anna Jarin Levine, Accident Attorneys, 800-747-FREE, 800-747-3733. Involved in any kind of an accident, hit and run, slip and fall, motorcycle accident. You let Anna Jarin Levine Accident Attorneys put their skills to work for you. 800-747-FREE. 800-747-3733. We're coming at you a little later tonight than usual. I was on ESPN Radio doing prime time from 5 to 9. Just got done with that. Had to get through a couple technical difficulties, all on my end like usual. Our pal, of course, is Joey Levin. Hello, Joey. How are you tonight? Have you recovered from last night's Dolphin game? What a fucking shit show.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I have, and I don't know how in depth you want to get into it, but I kind of have. There's, if it was gonna happen, that's kind of how it needed to happen. You know, there was a big opportunity for people to complain about injuries being the reason why the Dolphins lost. But I'll say this: that injured defense kept the team in the game.
Yeah.
It was not it was not that injured defense.
Totally.
There's some problems on the other end, and they have some big decisions to make.
If you would have told me here, hey, they're going to hold Kansas City to 26 points, do you think you could win that game? I would have said, yeah.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. They have big decisions to make on the offensive side of the ball. There's one in particular. Everyone knows it. It's been a long time coming. We'll see what happens. But
Robbie Chosen.
Exactly. Robbie Chosen for sure.
Hey, we got the NFL playoffs going on right now. I mean, Detroit's leading the Rams 21-17 late in the first half. You got NBA is in full swing. Bet Online has you covered with all the up to the minute, all the up to the second odds, news, and scores. With additional odds, lines, trends, and info on both desktop and mobile, you can access the world's best wagering information anytime. Head there today to get into the action. See all the updated odds. Remember to use promo code BELIEVE, BLEAV, to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet Online, where the game starts. So, we got the football going on right now. We got the Dolphins from last night. But the most important thing we all know is what's going on in the world of pro wrestling. And we're glad to have you aboard here on a Sunday night like normal. Make sure you like, you rate, you comment. You do all that. That helps me get all the monies, all right? And that's what everybody wants. So make sure you do all that good stuff. It helps the show grow. Tell all your friends about the show. Tell your mother I say hello. And then we get you caught up on all the happenings in the world of pro wrestling. And you know what? I thought Matt Cardona had a really cool tweet, I thought, yesterday. I think it was. And this is generally how I feel, where we're in an incredible time in the world of pro wrestling, like maybe the golden age. There's so much out there. And Matt Cardona put this tweet out there, just something to the effect of, there's so much going on out there. Just instead of complaining all the time about pro wrestling and all the things that you don't like, just enjoy everything that's going on in the world of pro wrestling. There really is so much out there. And I mean, heck, TNA Hard to Kill made a ton of news last night, right?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it is. Look, I get what he's saying. And I think this happens weekly now, where a wrestler or a reporter, somebody who's in the business says, guys, can't we all just be happy? No. I mean, the fact of the matter is no. I mean, it's sports. Like this, but this is part of why it's
welcome to sports.
What?
Welcome to sports.
Right. Exactly. That's why. But this is why it's so popular. If people didn't care enough to complain about it, then it wouldn't be so popular. The reason why people complain is because they care. I have a text thread every single day with my friends where we complain about the Dolphins. It's all we do. It's all we do is complain about the Dolphins. I've been complaining about Tua for 3 years, and now people are finally on my side. Different topic for another day. But the point is, yes, it was a good season. I could just focus on the positive, but it wasn't good enough. So I got to complain. And that's what fans do. I get what he's saying. And we all ultimately, I think even the people who are complaining, they do enjoy everything, but they're going to complain. But yeah, TNA, big news. I mean, they might have been the biggest, well, outside of Mr. Khan, the AEW one. TNA might have made the biggest news of the week.
Let's touch on that a little bit here right quick, okay? So now I didn't watch the show last night, but Dolph Ziggler Dana Brooke, now known as, well, Dolph Ziggler, now known as Nick Nemeth, and Dana Brooke, now known as Ash by Elegance.
Weird
So
name.
they are in TNA. That's their new promotion?
Well, no. So Dolph's doing the Cody thing.
Right. I thought he was going to NJPW, but he's just bouncing around.
Yeah, he's doing. I mean, the Bucks did it. Kenny did it. Everyone, all these guys have, or not all of them, but like a lot of these guys who have not been in WWE have done this same sort of circuit where they hit New Japan, they hit some indies, and then they hit at TNA or Impact, whatever it's called at that time. So no, I don't think he's anywhere. I don't think he is part of just one company. He's certainly doing stuff with New Japan, and he is certainly now immediately in the TNA title picture because he came out and he super kicked Moose, who is the TNA champion.
So WWE is essentially the only promotion that doesn't do this, where you can't participate in their promotion if you're not a contracted superstar.
Unless you're Mickie James in the Royal Rumble. What was it? 3 years, 3 years when she was the TNA, when she was
the Knockouts champion. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was cool. I loved that. I wish, who knows? Maybe we'll get some of that in a couple weeks. Like I like shit like that. You don't know who's going to wind up showing up in the Royal Rumble.
And also last time Nia Jax was in the Royal Rumble, she wasn't actually in WWE yet, right?
Right. But she wasn't jumping around promotion to promotion.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And so Dana Brooke, who is now, her real name is Ashley. So she's now Ash by Elegance.
Yes.
And what did she do last night other than when she was just watching?
Well, they were showing backstage footage throughout the night of this person who came in a limousine with high heels. Who's it going to be? Who's it going to be? And then she was ringside for the TNA Women's Championship, the Jordan Grace versus Trinity. Trinity dropped the title because
I like that Jordan Grace, man.
And everyone believes that Trinity is headed back to WWE. So
Definitely.
she dropped the title she's had for a while now.
So she'll be at Royal Rumble, and she's now back in WWE. Yeah.
But this is what I said. Remember when all of the cuts happened? We did our top 5. Like, who would you like to see show up in AEW? And like Dana Brooke, I think, was in both of our top 5s because she was underutilized in WWE for whatever reason.
Yep.
And she's really good. And AEW's women's division, it goes through huge ups and downs. One thing about Dana Brooke, she's always available. She's always around. She's ready to go.
She's a super hard worker, and anything that they ever have put on her plate, like she makes it work, and she goes like 1,000%, man. She's a good worker.
And for whatever anybody thinks about TNA, like I might watch some TNA now because of Dolph. I'll put it that way. I'm gonna do it. It's like this happened 3 or 4 years ago, maybe more, when there was all those huge cuts, and then Heath showed up in TNA and Matt Cardona showed up in TNA. It's very similar to when that happened all on one show.
Yeah.
But as far as Dana Brooke goes, the way she was presented at that show, she looks like a star more so than she ever did in WWE.
She has a massive social media following because, she posts all the sexy pics and all of that. She has a massive following, and it's crazy that WWE couldn't find a way to make it work for her.
I don't get the name. I don't like the name, but she looked like $1 million sitting ringside. Right. And obviously she's going to be in the title picture already too, because they showed her ringside for the title match. So
good for her.
You have one former WWE superstar comes in, wins the title. Now she's leaving. Former WWE superstar steps in. Now she can go right to the top. That's what TNA smart. TNA smart. I mean, they're never going to be huge, but they do capitalize on getting these names in there and making headlines. The Dolph thing, Dolph's awesome, man.
Yep.
I mean, he looks like such a badass right now. Like this version of him is awesome. I'm telling you, mark it down. I said it last week. Mark these couple weeks down.
You think he'll be back at WrestleMania eventually? Not this WrestleMania, but eventually.
No. 2 years, 3. I mean, this guy could wrestle for another 20 years. Yep. Look at him. He's incredible.
Yep. He's never hurt. Like, he always puts on banger matches.
He looks like a superstar. He just looks like a superstar. He's awesome. Yep.
So Tony Khan, let's get you started here. So was it the beginning of this week where Tony Khan went back and forth with people on Twitter about, people are complaining about Hook getting a title match next week. And then he wants to make a whole thing about Jinder Mahal getting a title match about Seth Rollins. And it was, somebody had the response about, Tony Khan has just.
Well, I actually have the rundown.
All right, let me hear it.
Order of events. Okay?
Yeah, so let me hear it.
So Monday Night Raw, right, starts with or we find out on Monday Night Raw, we have Jinder and Seth in a segment, and we find out that Jinder is going to have a match with Seth Rollins for the title on Raw next week. Raj Giri, who is a internet wrestling guy, puts out a tweet that says, these guys, with a picture of them, these guys have history. Seth Rollins defeated Jinder Mahal in the tournament finals to become NXT champion.
Okay. Yep.
This was on Monday night, as you know, as it was happening. USA Network, to their credit, whoever runs their account, responds to it and says, what was the cage match rating? Now, I had to do some research on this because I didn't totally understand why this became such a big thing. Apparently, and I guess I've missed this in the pressers and the scrums, Tony Khan apparently leans like heavily on the website Cage Match, which is a website where fans can go and vote on their favorite matches.
Okay.
So apparently he a number of times, including like at their last conference media call, referenced how like we had all of these matches from Dynamite in the top 50 on Cage Match this year, which is
all right, whatever.
If you're the head booker of a massive company, that's an absurd thing to be leaning on. I mean, it's like 50 people vote on it.
Okay.
So USA put that out. So everyone, now the internet's losing their mind. Look at, holy shit, USA is calling out Tony Khan.
It's funny.
So Tony Khan put out 2 tweets within a minute of each other. The next
I wonder
day,
what the chain of command though is there with like USA social media guy and the execs at USA and WWE. Like I wonder what's the approval process to send that tweet.
It's such a harmless tweet. You would imagine somebody as powerful and as rich as Tony Khan doesn't even see that and certainly doesn't go where he went here.
I think it was also the day that the Jacksonville Jaguars got eliminated by the Titans. Like maybe you got better things to be upset about, right?
Right. So this is the next day. So that was January 8th, Monday. Tuesday, within a minute of each other. First, he puts out a tweet at 4:35 that says, a double standard. Hook, 21-8 career record on a winning streak, calls out the champ. A logical challenge sparks online outrage. Jinder has literally lost every single match he's in for the past year, immediately gets a title shot. Where is the rage?
Jinder's a former champion. He's a former WWE champion.
And then, for whatever reason, a minute later, he then quote tweets USA saying, what was the cage match rating? And says, a moral victory for USA is 1 win more than their world title challenger Jinder Mahal has in the past 364 days, because it's been literally a full year since he won a match. You really put AEW in our place, getting Jinder Mahal in a big match on your TV show. Do it more often.
Unnecessary.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then, about a half hour later, Eric Bischoff quote tweets it with a clown emoji.
Yeah, Bischoff hates him.
Right. So, and then probably within the next hour or so, some guy named Mikey tweets, Tony forgets that he literally gave Abaddon a title shot after being off AEW TV for over a year.
On pay-per-view.
Exact same situation.
Yep, on pay-per-view.
So Eric Bischoff quote tweets, hey, Tony Khan, is this true or not? Tony Khan, about an hour later, no, Eric Bischoff, not true at all. Abaddon returned to AEW and won a 4-way match on TNT against other great wrestlers to earn a title shot, which is completely different than somebody going a full year, losing every match they're in and getting a title shot without a single win.
I mean, it's all up for debate because, you know, it's make-believe, but the fact that like he's that involved in this is it's ridiculous. I don't understand.
And also, they don't. He references Hook being 28-1. He references Abaddon winning a match, but they don't do that. They don't do that shit anymore on TV. Like they don't.
No,
that was their thing in the beginning. I mean, they do, but it's not like a thing. It's not like so there's so many things to it, right? Obviously, the whole thing in the beginning of AEW, which I know you loved, is that they tried to make it more like sport, keep records. They had the power.
I liked when they would announce the referee.
Yeah. But they don't lean on that anymore. Right. So to go after Jinder Mahal, who, like you said, is a former
champion,
is a former champion. And by the way, was a primary player in a segment a week earlier that is probably more watched than anything AEW's ever done.
Right.
The segment with The Rock.
Yeah.
Right. So if WWE, the most powerful wrestling company, the biggest wrestling company on the planet, had the faith to put Jinder Mahal in the ring with The Rock, I think he's okay to be in the ring with Seth Rollins and
Yeah.
have a match with Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
Right. And then the thing with Hook, 28-1 gets you a title match against the world champion. You don't have to give him a title match. Just give him a match. It could be a non-title match. Like, I think that's what people are outraged about. Like, why does Hook have a title match? Like, because you're trying to make this realistic, and it's about records, and we're the real sports company. If that's the truth, then we're to believe that Hook can actually win a title can win the world title. Hook could win the world title.
Yeah.
That's what you're telling us. No,
Right.
just give him a match. It doesn't have to be a title match. Jinder Mahal, on the other hand, as you've mentioned, is a former champion. So it is realistic that Jinder Mahal could be a champion again. He's not going to be, and neither is Hook. But the idea that the owner of the company is on social media.
Like, do you think someone, like, who's the person that pulls aside Tony Khan? And
Nobody.
like,
and I think
maybe we take a step back here.
So that's the thing. That's what the guys like the Alvarezes and the Meltzers of the world are saying. Like, people within AEW are not happy. Like wrestlers are like, he's making us look stupid.
Yeah.
And that there is nobody to pull him back. And that's the problem, is that he takes advice here and there, but he still really is in control. So there's nobody. And, and the funny thing about that too, is like, isn't that what everybody hated about Vince? Is that he had ultimate control and he was doing everything. And no matter what, things were getting changed at the last second. He had to be the final say. He had to do this.
Right.
It sounds like that's exactly what Tony Khan is in AEW.
Right.
I don't know. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, please.
And I would say the reason this pissed me off the most was because of the product that we got on Wednesday night. Honestly, I thought, to me, I made a direct correlation with this guy being so focused on going after USA and Eric Bischoff on Twitter and the product that AEW put out on Wednesday night. Because I thought it was a little embarrassing. If I'm being honest, I thought there were some parts of AEW on Wednesday night that I just thought were disrespectful and a little bit embarrassing, to be honest.
Well, so let's talk about one of the big moments there was, I guess we've learned now. So Revolution, Sting's final match, right? It's going to be him and Darby against the Young Bucks.
Yeah, I don't know it wasn't like announced, but the Young Bucks came out at the end. They're obviously heels. They're wearing suits. They got mustaches.
Yeah, if you have a mustache, you're a heel. Nobody's
and I was reading that apparently, I guess Sting had some other stuff in mind for his final match, but then they must have had a match not long ago where the Bucks were involved in the match, where it was like Sting, Darby, and someone, like a triple threat or like a 6-person tag.
Okay. And
the Bucks were in the match, and Sting decided, like, okay, I want these guys to be my last match.
Yeah, I mean, that's obviously super high profile. I don't know, like how Sting going to be able to hang with those guys,
Well, Darby, first of all, if Darby's neck isn't broken, then Darby will carry the match. But I don't know. You saw what happened to him on Dynamite.
Yeah.
I mean, that was crazy. I like, those are the type of things where it's like, hey, Tony Khan,
I know. Maybe
get off Twitter and worry about the safety of your wrestlers. Because
it's why these guys get hurt so often. It really used to be about, and I don't want to complain about the old days, but it really used to be about, like, pro wrestling was about making you think that they're hitting each other. They're not really hitting each other. They're going to make you think they hit each other. And that's why these guys get hurt now, man, because that ain't how it goes anymore.
There's no way, even if it's not serious, there's no way Darby Allin's neck's not hurt. Like, he hurt his neck. He had to. His head snapped back on the ring rope, on the bottom ring rope, after getting tossed fully across the ring. It was scary looking. That's not cool, man.
At what point are we getting the Ric Flair heel turn? Got to, right?
I don't know. Did you see the video of him deadlifting?
Really?
Like, it looked like a lot. It looked like he might die. But
I mean, he's like Ric Flair. In Ric Flair's mind, he should be Sting's last match.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I think how sick wrestling fans are, I think a lot of people wouldn't mind it.
Speaking of which, by the way, before we get to WWE here, what are we to make? We talked about TNA to open up here. What are we to make of Jungle Boy? Jungle Boy showing up in NJPW and ripping up his AEW contract. What do we make of that?
Well, he's obviously still in I mean, that's obviously
he is still in AEW, yes, and he was also wearing an armband that said Scapegoat.
Yeah, I feel like that's where they have that relationship with where they send people back and forth. That's got to be it's a great story, and
I think it is too.
I like it, and he looks crazy. I mean,
I like it too.
The beard and the way he looks. Yeah. It's the most personality, it seems like.
Yeah, let him be like the anti-establishment guy. You guys are trying to fuck me, well, fuck you. Like, I like
but
it.
I don't think New Japan would have a guy because of their relationship with AEW. I don't know that they would.
Disrespect AEW.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
So
cool.
I think it's a gimmick, but it's a cool gimmick.
I like
and
it.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't need Jack Perry's been boring for a long time. This is not boring. So
Yeah.
I'm good with it. I think it's fun, but I don't know if he'd never ripped up the contract with the AEW logo. I would think, okay, maybe there's something here. Maybe he did leave.
Yeah.
But the fact that they ripped the logo on their TV and they have a relationship
And
seems
wearing
like
the scapegoat armband. I dig it. I think it's cool.
Yeah, I thought it was cool too.
Yeah.
So, but can I just say, I just want to say before we go to WWE, AEW promoted this week's Dynamite as Homecoming because they're at Daly's Place, and they promoted it that they were going to like honor Brody Lee.
Why? What's the hook there?
It's that Brody Lee was one of the guys who really carried the Daly's Place era.
Okay.
And this is where my connection is, again, between Tony Khan being so hyper-focused on Twitter and not on the product. I know Brody Lee's now it's been a couple of years since he passed away. So you don't have to do a whole big thing. You don't have to honor him if you don't choose to. Like, you don't always have to do it once a year or whatever. But if you're going to do it, don't half-ass it. I mean, that was bullshit, man. They
just played a bunch of highlights, right?
They played highlights. They couldn't. You're telling me you're this giant company, you can't put together a package, like a pre-produced package to honor the guy? You have Excalibur, who is all over the place when he's an announcer, just being like, 3 years ago, blah, 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 blah. It's like zooming through highlights for 2 minutes of Brody Lee. And then the real way you're going to honor him is by taking his hand-picked proteges and putting them in 8-person tag matches that they're not even highlighted in. It's like Brody Lee hand-picked Anna Jay and Preston Vance. So tonight we're going to have them in a match with 7 other people. and 9 of the 16 people in these 2 matches weren't even at Daly's Place. We're going to put Preston Vance in a match where we shoehorn Orange Cassidy in and we shoehorn Edge in so that they can get on TV this week. And we're going to have Anna Jay in a match where we shoehorn Saraya in because, we got to get her on TV because we're paying her a lot of money. Like, it felt like a slap in the face. It didn't feel like they were honoring the guy. And to me, like, that guy was a huge part of the early days of AEW. He was awesome. And he's universally loved in wrestling.
Yep.
And I thought they did a half-ass job. Meanwhile, Tony Khan's tweeting at USA Network. Like, I was thinking about it while I was watching Dynamite. I'm like, this guy's a clown, man. Like, this isn't how you do it. WWE would never do some shit like that. If they're going to honor somebody who passed away in their company, if they're going to honor them, they're going to do a good job at it. Right?
Yeah.
Now, they may not honor everybody. That's a whole other thing. But if they're going to honor them, they're not going to just half-ass it, throw it together like that.
All right, so let's get to WWE here. First, though, got to tell you about one of our great sponsors, all right? If you're in the South Florida area, I mean, who doesn't want to live in the South Florida area? If you're looking for your next dream home in any part of the South Florida area, I send you to your trusted real estate broker. I'm talking about Matthew H. Mashler and Signature Real Estate Finder. That's right. Huge pro wrestling fan. One of the founders and chair of BRCW, Boca Raton Championship Wrestling. Matthew H. Mashler, Signature Real Estate Finder, 561-208-3334. If you're thinking about purchasing a new home, 561-208-3334. Maybe you're thinking, you know what? I got this property. It's just time to sell. Hey, you go to your trusted real estate broker, Matthew H. Mashler, realestatefinder.com. Maybe you're already in the real estate business. If you're ready to take your real estate career to the next level, you could join the Signature team. The Signature Real Estate companies are South Florida's industry leaders, ranked #1 in Boca, one of the tops in the entire state of Florida, with offices all throughout the state, including Delray Beach, Parkland, Fort Lauderdale, Miami, Naples, Palm Beach. The Signature team is where you want to be. So whether you're buying your next dream home, Matthew H. Mashler, call him today, 561-208-3334. If you're selling your property, realestatefinder.com, or you're just looking to join the best in the business, you can chop it up about pro wrestling. Matthew H. Mashler, 561-208-3334, your pathway to exceptional real estate experiences. All right. So,
by the way, can I ask you something?
yeah.
Have you watched Collision live since CM Punk left the company?
No.
I was watching today. I was trying to catch up on it. I'm like, this is just Rampage.
Nah. I only have so much time in the day, you know? Like I had a hard time making sure I was all caught up on Raw and SmackDown leading up to us talking tonight. Like I only have so much time in the day, man.
Totally, but I just also was thinking back like Bullet Club Gold and FTR best 2 out of 3 tag match, which was one of the best tag team matches in years, was on Collision at one point. And now like now there's like nothing. I'm just like, I want to watch it, but I didn't even watch the whole show. I just went through like the highlights because it's just like, it feels like it's just regressed into just another Rampage, which is just 2 hours. I don't know. But it seems like it's been since, because they built the show for CM Punk, right? You know?
Yeah. By the way, SmackDown on Friday night, I didn't think there was a whole lot to SmackDown. I mean, the whole show, unless you thought something was so great from SmackDown, the whole show was built around Bloodline finding an extra member to fight with them in the 6-man tag. I did like how Nick Aldis just put Roman Reigns in the match, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, Roman's there, like he's just fighting on free TV tonight.
Yeah.
And Paul Heyman has to remind Nick Aldis that you just as well as I know, Roman Reigns is not here tonight.
Yeah.
I feel like I think Nick Aldis has been great, by the way.
That's what I was going to say.
Great. I think he's been great. And I feel like we're headed toward a place one day where he's going to fight. I know he can still fight, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so. And I actually think
he's been great.
That was my only takeaway from SmackDown this week was WWE actually has a guy who can go toe-to-toe with Heyman.
Yeah.
Like, obviously Heyman's the GOAT. We know that. But like every interaction they've had, Aldis has come out looking awesome.
Yeah,
he's really good.
He's been great. Really, I will tell you. So, and you know, it leads to they take out Randy Orton, but then Orton comes back and they win the match, and they're Solo gets the RKO, and everyone does their finishers to Solo. Okay, fine. The one thing that I took from SmackDown was Butch. To me, the highlight of the show. So Butch, we know for sure now Brawling Brutes are over. Like Sheamus is really close to returning. He'll probably return at Royal Rumble. So Brawling Brutes is over because Ridge Holland has been at NXT, right? So they finally told us, because Butch said Brawling Brutes is over. So that's done. And Butch is having coffee. Why weren't they having beers? Butch is having coffee with big strong boy Tyler Bate.
Yep.
And
who was in NXT for like 9 years. But it's finally getting his main roster time.
And so then Tyler Bate tells him, who are you going to be? Something like that. Who are you? And we're clearly getting Pete Dunne back.
Good.
Yeah. We've all been waiting for that. And he is awesome. I will tell you, my all-time favorite NXT match is when Pete Dunne lost the NXT UK title to Walter. Unbelievable match. I mean, Pete Dunne was the NXT UK champion for like 2 years. Pete Dunne is awesome. And Butch has been fine. Like it looked like it was going to be just a gag at first. And it turned into like Butch was a legit part of the roster and he was good. But let's get back to Pete. Butch has been fine, but let's get back to Pete Dunne because this dude is awesome.
That's what I was going to say, which is the thing with Butch is, or Pete Dunne / Butch is one of the things that when you could tell somebody is great, like when they're really great at what they do, is when they are giving it an absolute shit gimmick. And it turns out to be pretty good. Like there was a point where I'm like, Butch might be the best thing on TV. Like there were points there where he was awesome, where he was just like an insane person when he jumped over the table and the contract signing. Like Butch had his moments.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Pete Dunne is going to be great if they bring him back as Pete Dunne. But I think to your point, like what shows how great he actually is that he was given this like weird name and this weird gimmick, and he just totally like overcame it. And Butch was actually pretty great, I thought.
Yeah. So. Let's get back to the bruiserweight. Let's get back to Pete Dunne. Maybe it comes at Royal Rumble. But that's very clearly where we are headed.
Could you call him the bruiserweight Butch? Because I like Butch. I like the name.
No, I think we're going back to Pete Dunne. I think that's
fine. I mean, I like that too. He was great in NXT. So, and by the way, Pete Dunne, the bruiserweight, he could beat Gunther for the Intercontinental title.
Oh, that'd be so cool if they can revisit that story and that Pete Dunne gets his revenge by being the one. Maybe it's at WrestleMania, by being the one to unseat him. Because, man, I am here for that. Because a round 2 between those two guys would be awesome. I'm telling you, if you're watching right now or you're listening on the podcast, go onto Peacock and go NXT UK when Walter won the title from Pete Dunne. It's one of my favorite all-time matches. It's an incredible. I mean, it really was like 30 minutes of Walter beating the shit out of Pete Dunne. It was a great, great match. So, and I have confidence in it too, because with Triple H running the show here, just go back and think about what you saw really over the last week, over the last 2 weeks. It's all his NXT guys who are dominating the two shows. Like, I got a lot of confidence that they're going to do right here with Pete Dunne. So that was the highlight of SmackDown for me. Really the only thing I thought that stood out.
Yeah, and I think, there's a lot of recency bias, and a lot of people have been saying, like, oh, it's got to be Ilya Dragunov. He's got to come up. And I don't disagree, but there's history there, and Pete Dunne is awesome. And by the way, Bilal says, that's great, but I want Gunther versus Brock at Mania. Sure, that'd be awesome, but Gunther needs to win that match. Like, Gunther wins that match, and then you can build whoever's going to beat Gunther down the line, right? Like, that Gunther Brock would be amazing. But Brock's not, I don't think it's for Brock to win the Intercontinental title. I think it's to make Gunther an even bigger star, right?
Yeah.
When you do something like that.
I'd like to get to a place where it's Pete Dunne facing Gunther again. I'm telling you, if you've never seen that match, go back and watch it. It's really, really, really great.
That would be awesome, man. That would be awesome.
Raw was really fun. I got a few things from Raw that I want to get to here. Number one, let's start out with the R-Truth and Judgment Day stuff was hilarious. It was really good. He is so. I mean, Dom and Nick Mysterio. I've never met Nick.
I think he said Tom too. Didn't he say Tom and Nick Mysterio?
No, I think he said Dom.
I'm pretty sure he said. I thought he said Tom. I think he thinks Dom's name is Tom.
Dom and Nick Mysterio. Even though I've never met Nick, you're my boy. Like that. That's who thinks of that.
That's an all-time line.
Dom
and also just like
Mysterio.
when I was born and I came out of the womb, I told the doctor one day I'm going to be a WWE superstar.
How about when they're showing the graphics? He says all of us were there at the Judgment Day in your house pay-per-view.
Yeah, I love, and even the ending where he's like, in the end he's like, now that JD's out and I'm in the Judgment Day, we got a message for everybody on the WWE roster. We're here if you need to talk.
He's fantastic, man.
Yeah. I love the fact that, remember when he came back, it was during a pay-per-view, like this recently.
Yeah.
It was during a pay-per-view, and it was a backstage segment, and it was like a promo for like chips or something, like Doritos or something like that. And or like Ruffles, and he like pulled out a bowl of Ruffles and like ate one. But even in the back, you could hear the crowd pop. You could hear how nuts they went for R-Truth. I love that we're finally in a time in WWE where Triple H hears that and he's like, we got to do more with this guy. Look at that reaction. Like,
he's going to eliminate JD McDonough in the Royal Rumble.
Yes. I'm also thinking, can we get Awesome Truth in a tag team title match at WrestleMania? Like, is that out of the question here?
Against Judgment Day and they win the titles? Sure.
Yeah. Why not?
I'm looking forward to him eliminating JD McDonough in the Royal Rumble. That's gonna be a good spot.
As a combination right now, R-Truth and Miz are hotter than they've been probably since they were Awesome Truth. I mean, they're both. I mean, R-Truth. I sent you that graphic that the guy tweeted that the top two shirts, or the top two selling shirts in the WWE store over the last couple of weeks were both R-Truth Judgment Day shirts.
It's awesome.
That's crazy.
It's awesome.
He's the top guy right now in Judgment Day.
The first match of the night was Tommaso Ciampa and Finn Balor. All right. And this match is happening. And then it occurred to me, I go, holy shit. On Raw, I mean, the open, like essentially a throwaway match. Man, I know there's a bigger story there, DIY versus Judgment Day, but we have Tommaso Ciampa fighting one-on-one against Finn Balor. That's a main event caliber match. Like that is a big time match. And it just had me thinking, like yeah, like this roster right now is super stacked. And Triple H is allowing for longer matches. Like even the tag team match with Carter and Chance against Chelsea Green and Piper Niven. I'm very hurt that Chelsea Green and Piper Niven lost again. I love the two of them. That match got a ton of time. Like the matches are a lot longer now, man, on Raw. But just I couldn't help but notice these are two major stars. Tommaso Ciampa. I mean, Ciampa's not necessarily being billed as one today, but if you go back a couple years ago and you're getting Ciampa versus Balor on Monday Night Raw, it's a big deal.
Yeah. And I think also them opening the show and having a singles match that has time, it shows you that there's to me, that just means like that Triple H has that he's planning, that he wants to see it, right? He has a plan there. Like there's a reason they're getting time on TV. He knows what he has with them. And there's more there for either of them, whichever way they go, there's going to be more there. So, I mean, Ciampa is a star. We know Finn Balor's. I mean, Finn, I still think Finn is being under, as much as Judgment Day is used. I still think Finn's underutilized. I think he's like one of the top guys in the whole industry. But I mean, they're both awesome. So yeah, that's cool. By the way, Bilal was saying he said not to the same extent, but truth can be the Judgment Day.
Oh yeah, I mean that's clearly what's happening. Yeah,
it's essentially what he is, right?
Yeah.
And he's I don't know, he's almost as over as Sammy was. He's almost.
How about the push that Ludwig Kaiser is getting? I mean, that was like a star.
He's really good.
That's an over move there, man, where he takes out Kofi and by the way, I guess the embargo's over. Where Samantha Irvin did the Ludwig Kaiser.
Yeah. Yeah. I heard that the other day. Did she do it for Chelsea Green?
I don't know, but I noticed it for Ludwig Kaiser.
I got to go back and watch it. Yeah. Well,
but Ludwig Kaiser like that, like I feel like he kind of became a made man on Monday night with the way that he took him out. And they clearly think that he's going to be a guy.
He seemed like a guy for a while. Like he's pretty much been the mouthpiece for Imperium. He looks like $1 million, and he's pretty. I mean, he's good enough in the ring, but he can talk. He's a great heel. Great heel. I mean, the cocky, arrogant, like good-looking dude, foreigner. Like he's a perfect heel. So yeah, it's good. I mean, he. I also think like Imperium probably has to break up at some point because Gunther is getting to that point I always talk about where he's so good that people aren't going to boo him anymore. So he may have to be a face at some point.
Oh, well, I don't agree with that. I don't think Gunther. I think Gunther's one of those characters that can't be a babyface.
I think at some point he's so good that people might start cheering him. Not yet, but at some point he might.
The foreign thing, man, holds him back. Although maybe I'd have been saying the same thing about Rusev years ago, but Rusev also had Lana next to him, and people are going to want to cheer for Lana.
And to be fair, when he really got over was when he had Aiden English.
Yeah.
When he had the Rusev, it's Rusev Day.
Oh, I love
that.
Rusev
got him
Day.
over. That was huge.
Loved Rusev Day.
We need Miro Day. God.
Do you have anything on Punk and McIntyre before I get to my favorite part of the night?
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I wonder. There was part of me when I was listening to Drew McIntyre cut his promo on CM Punk that I wonder if there was like a discussion when they brought CM Punk in when they were like, we're going to let these guys who have problems with you say whatever they want to in the ring and you have to take it. Because like the stuff Drew McIntyre was saying, like some personal shit, man. And we always talk about it, like how much approval,
man.
But like how much approval do you need to get and what's the discussion and this and that. But like the stuff Seth's been saying, the stuff Drew is saying, it's real shit. It just feels real. Right. And so I just wonder, like, did they say to Punk, like, you're going to have to take it. Like, you want to be here. Probably. You have to be on behavior and you got to take it because he was like the line he had about you would walk into the locker room and say the locker room leader's here because the locker room leader needs to announce that he's the locker room leader. I was like, damn, man, like, he's going at his head for that, like that, but which is entertaining. I just think it's interesting. Like if that happened at the other place, CM Punk would have lost his shit.
I think CM Punk probably, I think there's an element of respect that he has for the way that they do business in WWE, and he knows that it's a very professional environment. I'm not trying to say that AEW is not, but I think he knows.
I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it. It's not.
I think
it doesn't
he knows
seem to be
that they're adults.
Right. Fair
So
enough.
yeah.
Yeah.
My favorite part of the night, though, man. Okay, so I love what they're doing with Nia Jax. She looks great, by the way. I mean, obviously, she's always going to be a heavy girl, but she's clearly lost a lot of weight. All right. She looks great. And everyone hates her, which is also great. And she's cutting that promo about how she's going to win the Royal Rumble and she's going to come after the championship. And then Rhea Ripley's music hits. Whoo! Massive face pop for Rhea Ripley. Massive. There's no way around it now. She is a big time babyface now. And they love her. Huge pop. She was eating it up. She was behaving like a badass babyface, but smiling and eating it up. She is a big time babyface. I think we're getting very close that she's too big for Judgment Day. She's gonna have to break away from them.
It's been that way. She should have been like, they don't have Dom with her anymore. She's by herself. Like, I thought this was a great step in the right direction for Rhea Ripley. Because I've told you for a while now, I hate the way she's presented with Judgment Day as just like sort of like the middleman leader, whatever you want to call it. No feuds. She doesn't do anything other than talk and have Dominic. Really, she was putting Dominic over for months and months and months. She comes out by herself and looks like a massive star now. Like that. She doesn't need Judgment Day to be a star. She's a star.
I mean, you know what put like over the top is she kicks Dominic to the curb. The crowd, I mean, that'll be a major moment. And it'll be good for Dominic too, because it's like you're a huge fucking loser, Like it'll be
that's
good
already
for him
kind of
being a heel
naturally
anyway.
happened though, right? Like they don't do anything together anymore.
But there's got to be a moment we get to that she just kicks him to the curb. But I mean, that was my favorite moment of the night. She is a major star, and like she's gonna go into WrestleMania. Whoever's gonna try and take the title from her, she's gonna go in a massive babyface into WrestleMania.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean she's at that place too, where same thing I said with EO, where it's like, as much as they want to present these people as heels, the crowd just loves them so much that they just naturally turn into a face. My thing with her being too big for Judgment Day is, I agree. I think she should have been out of Judgment Day a long time ago. I said this, as much as I love R-Truth, this whole thing with R-Truth and Judgment Day means that they're sort of just like a middle of the card, attraction right now. As much as I love R-Truth, what's the future here for for Judgment? Oh man, I'm just watching a replay of Matt Stafford might have got.
Yeah, me too.
Did you see that?
Yeah,
that did not look good.
Yeah, he's in the tent right now.
Yeah, he looked like he was out. But anyway, sorry, I got distracted.
I mean, I think it all comes to a head when Damian Priest eventually loses the cash-in.
Because that has to be before Mania too, right?
Doesn't have to be.
Or it has to be before the next Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
Right.
Remember, Dolph Ziggler held on to it until the day after WrestleMania that one time. Like, it's
right.
It's approaching the time.
The best cash-in of all time. The best cash-in of all time.
I think it's second, but okay.
Yeah. I just, it seems like they've already.
My favorite part of the night. Rhea was my favorite part of the night. I thought it was cool. I thought Nia Jax was great in that spot also. She's so easy to hate. But I'm just wondering, when do we get that match? Because unless you believe Nia is going to win the Royal Rumble, I do not. She can't not win the Royal Rumble and then still get her title shot against Rhea. That defeats the entire purpose.
But can she fight her at Royal Rumble and then be in the Rumble?
No, but the whole point is she wants to win the Royal Rumble so she can get the title match.
Oh, she can win Elimination Chamber.
Yes, that is true. Yep. Okay.
But then is that what we're doing? We're going to do Nia versus Rhea at WrestleMania?
Maybe. Everyone hates Nia Jax and everyone loves Rhea now. That works for me. And you know what? Nia Jax can beat her. She can beat her.
Of course. You know what? Look, I've been saying on this show for months now that Raw has nothing for Rhea. So maybe this is it.
Maybe Nia wins Elimination Chamber.
Because we've been saying for months, what is Rhea going to do at WrestleMania? There's nothing for her on Raw. And to your point, if she is just now a face, which it seems like she is, then the natural thing on Raw is, but so then you know what that takes out of play? At least to me, Jade Cargill eliminating her. Because you have to keep Nia looking strong. If you're going to put Nia in the main event of WrestleMania, you can't have one person eliminate her.
Well, she wouldn't be in the main event because she's not winning Royal Rumble. Like, I mean, main event, one of the main events.
No, one in a title match. Sorry, title match at WrestleMania. But if you're going to have her eventually then be in a title match at Mania, I don't think you could have this brand new person come in and just like chuck her. I think you need to make her look strong in the Rumble, and like 15 girls have to eliminate her, and then she can come out and say, well, it took 15 women to eliminate me, but there's only 5 in the Elimination Chamber. You know,
it leaves open. That scenario leaves open who I make. It allows it to make sense who I think is going to win the Royal Rumble, and that would mean from SmackDown, and I think it's Bayley. I think Bayley is going to get her big moment, man.
Yeah, but then that means if Nia's going to fight Rhea, then that means Bayley's going to fight Io.
Could be. Yeah. I think Bayley's going to win the Royal Rumble, man. I think that's where this whole story with Damage Control is headed. That they're going to turn on her, and her revenge is going to be winning that title from Io.
I don't disagree. I think that's I think at some point they are going to turn on each other. Her whole storyline here, though, has been, I'm going to win Royal Rumble and I'm going to get the Raw title, so we have all the gold.
Well, I think her plan's going to change. It's now I'm going to win the Royal Rumble, and I'm going to destroy Damage Control.
So she's going to turn on them.
No. They're going to turn on her, but Damage Control still exists. It's just minus Bayley.
Okay, so here's what has to happen. They turn on her at Rumble. They think they eliminated her. Like, they eliminate her fake elimination, but she survives it and wins it. And then next night, fuck you guys. You guys turned on me. Let's go. I'm coming after you.
Yeah, I told you I'm really into Bayley.
That's got to be it, right? Like, that would be a perfect way. Like, they team up on her in the Rumble to eliminate her, to turn on her. They think she's eliminated. They move on. She wins the Rumble. Boom, coming for you.
I hope it's something like that. I dig it, man.
Yeah.
All right. You got anything else tonight?
I mean, I know you hate this, but it's not even really a spoiler. But the TV network in Australia.
Oh yeah, I don't think this is a spoiler. Go ahead. I don't agree with you.
They tweeted that CM Punk is going to be at Chamber, and
Triple
then
H
WWE
put it out there.
But they did it because they put it out. Like, it wasn't out that he was going to be wrestling at Chamber.
I don't think it means anything.
They haven't. You don't announce who's going to be at Elimination Chamber before the Rumble. So
they didn't announce he's in the Elimination Chamber match.
What's he going to do?
I don't know, but I don't think it spoils that he didn't win the Royal Rumble. I don't think it spoils that.
I do. I think it means Cody wins the Rumble, CM Punk wins Elimination Chamber.
Nah, I don't think so.
I think the fact that Triple H had to put it out because they put it out before him is like, oh man, they fucked up. So let me just get ahead of it and say he's going to be there.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think WWE is a lot more careful than allowing that to happen.
But they don't have control over what the guys in Australia tweet out by accident.
No, but there's no reason for them to tell the guys in Australia, hey, by the way, CM Punk's not winning Royal Rumble, so he's going to be in an Elimination Chamber match.
Yeah, but like, what if Australia? But what if we've talked about this forever? What if, like, or not forever, but we talk about it all the time. They give these locations what they want. What if Australia was like, we want CM Punk? Yeah, and they're like, okay,
he'll be there. We'll work it into the story in some way. He'll be in Australia. He'll be there. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I don't think it means anything other than CM Punk's going to be at the show.
He's going to be. I think he's in the chamber. I think it means he's in the chamber. I mean,
it might be, but to me, it does not spoil Royal Rumble at all.
Well, yeah, I guess not. I don't know. Well, I guess we'll see. I will see what he has after. I mean, but if he wins the Rumble, he's going to have a singles match at Chamber?
No, but it's just like, hey, we know you're paying a ton of money here. You want CM Punk. He's going to be there. And, like, he'll address the crowd. He'll do something.
See, that's the thing. They don't, but that doesn't happen.
He's the Royal Rumble winner. He's got to make, is he going to announce who he's fighting in the main event to wrestle? Like the winner of the Royal Rumble is going to be at your pay-per-view. Yes.
You know what I would have liked to see? Odds before and after that announcement.
Okay.
Like I wish there was. I didn't check it. I don't even know if they're out. I'm assuming if we go to Bet Online, I bet Bet Online. If we go right now, I'm going to check it right now before we go.
Okay.
Let's see if
All
they
right.
have Royal Rumble odds.
Okay.
I'm logging in real quick. But I just, it felt, I mean, I'm probably overreacting, but this is what we do. This is what Matt Cardona, this is what Matt Cardona hates. Okay. Sorry, Matt Cardona, but I'm overreacting. I just felt like the only bet that Bet Online has, oh no, here you go. Here's Royal Rumble. But the first bet that comes up is CM Punk to be fired or quit before end of 2024.
I'm going to go no. I'm going to go no on that.
Minus 200, no.
Yeah, I'm going to go no.
WrestleMania matches. How do they have a WrestleMania match?
Don't look at it. Don't look at it.
Well, it's Roman.
And it's bullshit anyway.
It's only one. It's Roman Rock.
Yeah, okay.
All right, men's Royal Rumble winner. Who do you think has the best odds as of right now?
Rock.
The Rock?
Yeah.
No. There's some funny names on this list. The Rock is on the list. The Rock is 6th.
What are his odds?
Plus 700.
Oh, wow. So who's the odds on favor right now?
CM Punk. Plus 150.
So there goes your theory, right?
I guess so. Well, yeah. But what do they know? I don't know. What do they know? You know,
I don't think anyone knows.
You know who's number 2?
I don't think some schmuck in Australia knows either.
Do you know who's number 2?
Cody?
No.
Who?
Gunther.
Okay.
Do you know who is tied? There's a 3-way tie for 7th after the Rocket plus 700. 3 guys at plus 1,000.
I mean, you got to give me the ones before.
The one guy. Wait, what do you mean?
No, who are the guys leading up to the Rock?
Okay, so it's CM Punk.
Yeah.
Gunther. Mm-hmm. Cody's plus 400. LA Knight plus 500. Mm-hmm. Randy Orton plus 600. The Rock plus 700.
And so there's 3 guys tied after that.
Tied at plus 1,000. I mean, there's a ton
of people. Lesnar one of them?
List. Brock is not. He's plus 3,300.
Oh, wow. Who are they?
Drew McIntyre.
Okay.
Jey Uso.
Ooh.
MJF.
That'd be something, wouldn't it?
MJF plus 1,000 is not bad odds. He's top 7.
That'd be something
in the odds according to Vegas to win Royal Rumble.
That'd be some shit, wouldn't it?
The bidding war of 2024.
All right, man. Today's show brought to you in part by Bet Online. Thanks everybody for hanging out with us tonight. If you watched us live, love you long time. If you're listening afterward on the podcast, that's awesome too. Make sure you like, you rate, you comment, you do all that stuff. You smash the like button, like the kids like to say. Joey, we love pro wrestling. Tell all your fans that you'll talk to them next week. Go ahead.
We'll talk to you guys next week, and I'll leave you with this as a tie at plus 200 for the women's Royal Rumble.
Ooh, okay. Who is it?
Do you have any thoughts?
Well, I don't think Bailey's going to be one of them, even though
Bailey,
I think she's going to win.
Bailey and Becky.
Really?
Both odds-on leaders right now to win the women's Royal
awesome.
Rumble.
That's
number
awesome.
2, or after them 2. Plus 300.
Nia?
Jade Cargill.
Wow.
Vegas.
I like it that Bailey
Vegas loves Jade Cargill. Nia is plus 1,000. Raquel Rodriguez plus 600. That's how I know Vegas doesn't know anything on this.
Joey, tell all your fans you'll talk to them next week. Go ahead.
We'll see you guys. We'll see you guys next week. Appreciate everybody tuning in. And yeah, I love you guys.
Another edition of It's Still Real to Me. See ya.